Hello everyone, this is Lexicon Architect, and for today's commander, we're going to be looking at Kalain Reclusive Painter, a 2-mana Rakdos creature that when it ETBs, it creates a treasure, and then other creatures you control enter the battlefield with an additional 1/1 counter on them for each mana from a treasure spent to cast them. So this is pretty interesting because it's going to allow us to pump our creatures, but after playtesting, this deck is basically Rakdos Aristocrats, since we have a lot of aristocrat abilities in here, and we're going to be generating a ton of treasures. So let's hop into mana value 1. Disciple of the Vault. Whenever an artifact is put into the graveyard from the battlefield, you may have target opponent lose 1 life. So if we are sacrificing our treasures, this is going to allow us to ping the opponent of our choice. Then we have Impulsive Pilferer. When it dies, you create a treasure, and then it has Encore 4, that you exile this card from your graveyard, and for each opponent, create a token copy that attacks that opponent this turn if able. They gain haste, and you sacrifice them at the beginning of the next end step, and you can only activate this as a sorcery. So the cool thing about it is that if we do play it for its Encore ability while we still have 3 players remaining, these cards, regardless if they are blocked or not, are going to die at the end step, and they're going to generate us 3 treasures. Then we have Shivan Devastator as a creature that we can pump our treasures into, and then attack someone who does not have a flyer. And this does have haste, so it can attack as soon as it ETBs. And then lastly, at mana value 1, Vat of Rebirth. Whenever another artifact or creature you control is put into the graveyard from the battlefield, put an oil counter on it. So as we're stacking treasures, we are putting counters on Vat of Rebirth. And then for 3 mana, we can remove 4 oil counters from Vat of Rebirth, and we can return target creature from your graveyard to the battlefield, and you only activate this as a sorcery. At mana value 2, we have Collector's Vault, which we can tap to draw a card, discard a card, create a treasure. Deadly Dispute to allow us to sacrifice an artifact or a creature, draw 2 cards, and create a treasure. Dragonspark Reactor is in here because it acts as a secondary win con, that if we can get enough counters on this, we can basically sacrifice it for 4 to deal damage equal to the number of charge counters on it to target creature and to target player. Next, we have Jury, Master of Review. Whenever you sack a permanent, you put a counter on it, and then when it dies, you deal damage equal to its power to any target. So let's say, for example, this is a 10/10. It dies, and then we can deal 10 damage to any target. Next, we're going to talk about Reckless Fireweaver. Whenever artifact enters the battlefield under your control, it deals 1 damage to each opponent. So as we're creating treasures, we are also pinging our opponents along the way. Next, we have Torment of Hailfire as another win con for us. So if you do have the mana to dump into this, you repeat the following process X times. Each opponent loses 3 life unless their player sacrifices a non-land permanent or discard a card. So we put them in a position whether they want to lose life or lose all their permanents on the battlefield or have to discard their hand. And then lastly, we're going to talk about Underhanded Designs. Whenever an artifact enters the battlefield under your control, you may pay 1, and if you do, each opponent loses 1 life, you gain a life. And then for 2 mana, you can destroy target creature, and you can only activate this ability if you control 2 or more artifacts. At mana value 3, we have Academy Manufactor. Like I say in all my videos, this is one of my favorite cards to play because whenever we make a treasure, we're also creating a clue and a food. So we have ways to draw cards and gain life to keep us in the game. Next, we have Agent of the Iron Throne. That basically says commanders you control have whenever artifact or creature you control is put into the graveyard from the battlefield, each opponent loses 1 life. Next, we're going to talk about Mayhem Devil. Whenever a player sacrifices a permanent, Mayhem Devil deals 1 damage to any target. Then we have Phyrexian Arena in here to draw us cards. Professional Facemaker to allow us to create treasures. Whenever 1 or more creatures you control deal combat damage to a player. And then you can sacrifice a treasure to exile the top card of your library. You may play that card this turn. And then Zorn to get an additional treasure token whenever we make a treasure. At mana value 4, we have Big Score and Unexpected Windfall to discard a card, draw 2, and create 2 treasures. We have Damnation to act as a board wipe for us whenever we need to hit the reset button. And then lastly, Mirkwood Bats that says whenever you create or sacrifice a token, each opponent loses 1 life. Main value 4, we have Bone Horde Dracosaur. Basically, during your upkeep, you exile the top 2 cards of your library. You may play them this turn. If you exile a land, you create a 3/1 red dinosaur creature token. And if you exile a non-land card this way, you create a treasure token. Then, as another win con for us, we have Rebel Enriches that says whenever a creature your opponent controls dies, create a treasure token. And then at the beginning of your upkeep, if you control 10 or more treasures, you just flat out win the game. Then we have at mana value 6, Marionette Master with Fabricate 3. So we're going to want to put the 3 counters on this, but if we do need to make bodies, we can make servos. But whenever an artifact you control is put into the graveyard from the battlefield, target opponent loses life equal to Marionette's power. So let's say this is a 4/7. Yeah, no, a 4/6. Sorry. It's going to ping everyone every time we sacrifice a treasure. So this is also another win con for us. And then at mana value 7, we have Blood Money as another board wipe. But it does allow us to generate tons of treasure tokens. Because let's say if our opponent's board states are huge, they have a bunch of stuff on board. You wipe the board with this, and you're going to create a ton of treasures out of it. And then at mana value 9, we have Blasphemous Act as another way to blow up the board. Because it's going to cost 1 less to cast for each creature on the battlefield, and it's going to deal 13 damage to each creature. And as far as lands go, we have 1 utility land in Mount Doom that you pay 1 life to add a black or a red, or you can pay 3 to deal 1 damage to each opponent. And then for 7, we're never going to do it because I don't think we have any legendary artifacts, but if we do, we choose up to 2 creatures and destroy the rest, and only activate as a sorcery. So this deck is going to cost you $300. If you like this style of content, please hit the subscribe button. It will be at the bottom right of my YouTube video as my icon, or you could just hit the subscribe button on YouTube, and I hope you have a good day.